And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're taking a look at the latest expansion for Dominion, Dominion Guilds. Comes in a pink box. Not sure why. Is that pink?
Salmon.
Salmon. The salmon box. Alright. Dominion Guilds is a small expansion. It adds 13 new cards to Dominion. It's also supposedly the last expansion, or at least the last expansion for a while. So it closes out the Dominion thing. We're going to take a look at the new cards and then tell you what we think. Alright, let's take a look at the cards that come in the game first. Here we have what I would call the ordinary cards. The Taxman is kind of another version of the Mine, but it also attacks other players. You're trashing a treasure to get one that costs 3 more, except it doesn't go in your hand, it goes on top of your deck. Okay, not nearly as useful as the Mine, but at the same time, everyone else who has 5 or more cards in their hand has to get rid of that card. So it's great when you upgrade a silver to a gold or a gold to a platinum, because just seeing everyone else discard a silver or gold makes you smile. But also the upgrade part's cool. So it's like a cheaper version of the Mine. The Advisor is an interesting one because it's a +1 action +2 cards. You actually draw 3 cards though, and your player to your left picks one that you don't have. So it's okay, except your opponent's always going to pick the best card. I don't mind this. The +1 action +2 cards isn't a bad thing. It's just that they're not the greatest cards that you can get. Journeyman, you name a card, reveal cards from the top of your deck till you get 3 cards that are not the named card. This is basically a +3, a draw 3, but it's better than your typical draw 3 because you can say no curses, no provinces, no estates. Whatever you think there's a lot of in your deck, you can say that, and when you draw those, they don't count. So you're drawing 3 hopefully useful cards. The Soothsayer gives you a gold. Everyone else gets a curse. Ha, ha, ha. Love it. All right. But anyone who gets a curse draws a card. That's okay. You can have a card if I can give you a curse. Then the new mechanic of this game are these, the take a coin actions. There's actually many gold coins that come with this. These are the same tokens the ones that came in the Seaside expansion for the pirate ship. Here, basically, when you get a coin token, for example, this one, +1 action, +1 buy, take a coin token. A coin token is the same as a copper, essentially. The difference being, you can keep it from turn to turn. Well, this is great. This way you can save money as time goes by. For 2, an action buy and an extra coin token, not a bad thing. Or a card action coin token. That's the baker, and at the beginning of the game, each player gets a coin. Or the Merchant's Guild, which gives you an extra buy and an extra coin. And while it's in play, anytime you buy a card, you get a coin token, which you almost always do, so it's a free coin token. And since you can buy 2 things with it, you can get 2 tokens. Then the Plaza, +1 card, +2 actions. You can discard a treasure card and take a coin token. I often discard coppers. Basically, I'm giving up using that copper now to be able to use it at another time. Not to mention, this is a +1 card, +2 actions, so it's basically a better village. And then the Butcher gives you 2 coin tokens, and then you can trash a card from your hand and get rid of as many coin tokens as you want, and you get a new card, which is basically the difference. A very useful way to get rid of cards from your deck and upgrade them. The other new mechanic that has come in this set is the overpay mechanic. The Stonemason here is an example of that. The basic ability is pretty neat. Trash a card from your hand, gain 2 cards that each cost less than it. So let's say I have a platinum. I can get rid of that platinum and take 2 provinces. That's pretty neat. But basically, these cards are not so much about their ability, but when you buy this, you can overpay for it. If you do, you get 2 action cards, each costing the amount you overpaid. So this one costs 2+. So let's say I pay 6 for it. I can then get 2 action cards that each cost 4 because I overpaid by 4. Here, the Herald, which is a +1 card, +1 action, and maybe +2 actions, depending. But when I buy this, I can overpay. For each coin I overpay, I can look through my discard pile and put a card on top of my deck. This is one of the best overpay things in the game. I really enjoy it. You pay 7 for this Herald. Let's say you have 7. You know, everyone hates getting 7. taking 3 cards from your discard pile and putting them on top of your deck can be mind-blowingly great for your next turn. The Doctor here, where I can name a card, reveal the top 3 of your deck, trash the matches. Great one if you have a lot of curses in your deck, or even at the beginning of the game to get out the estates and the coppers out of your deck. Really like that. But you can also overpay for this one, and then you can look at the top card, trash it, discard it, or put it back. And so a good card even without the overpay mechanic. And then my favorite card of the game, probably Masterpiece, in which it's just a 1 coin like a copper, but when you buy it you can overpay for it and you get a silver for each one you've overpaid. I have already paid 9 for this one just so I could take 6 silvers and put them in my deck. Is that the best way to spend my time? I don't know, but it's fun. I like it. Governor does not come in this set, but I did want to bring it to your attention. It's a promo card that you can get, and so I figured I'd throw it in this review. Interesting one. Basically a +1 action, then you get to do one more thing, and everyone else gets to do it. You just do it better. So everyone else can draw a card, and you draw 3. Everyone else can discard trash a card and get one that costs 1 more. You can get one that costs 2 more, or everyone gets a silver, but you get a gold. It's an interesting card because it helps you out, but it also helps everyone else out also. Alrighty, a lot of new stuff in Dominion guilds. Let's start with the new mechanics. What'd you think of the overpaying, where you could pay extra for stuff?
I liked that, except that I kept getting a lot of platinums in the game, so I didn't really need the coins.
Yeah, I should mention that we played every card in this set, and we played it with Prosperity, which adds the more money, and without Prosperity, and it's a very different feel. So when many of the overpaid cards we played with Prosperity, and so that allows you to really overpay. Yeah. On some of these cards. I love buying that one where I got all the silvers. My whole deck was silvers at one point, I think.
Yeah.
I did that, 3 times or something? It's a ridiculous amount of silvers in my deck.
I got the platinums and stuff.
So that's the overpaying thing. The overpaying thing is an interesting mechanic. I'm glad that it's retained a few cards because it's use it when you buy it, but then it's not useful the rest of the game. So then it comes down to the card. So that's okay. But what about the coin mechanic, where you use something and get a coin and keep it?
I like that, how for the soothsayer, how you got a coin and then the other person got a curse instead.
No, that's the gold. That's the gold that you're thinking of. I'm talking about taking the little coins.
Isn't that it?
No, that was the soothsayers where you get a gold in your deck. Well, yeah, but what do you think about keeping the little coins from game to game?
That was a little hopeful when you didn't have the prosperity, because if you didn't have that much money, then you can just use the coins, put it up, and it was much easier.
Yeah, to me, this expansion is very similar to Prosperity in that I think it increases the money level of the game. Due to the fact that you can save these coins, it's much easier to get to 8. You know how in Dominion when you get 7, you're like, "Rah!" But you don't think that way when you get 7 and you have a coin there, because now you have 8. And the ability to collect these coins, you can save up and buy the bigger things. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a cool new mechanic. My concern is that mechanic is going to be diluted a little bit, because when you mix it with everything else, with I don't know how many different cards there are for Dominion now, probably 200. You know, that mechanic is kind of spread out. I almost wish this had been a big box and we had seen 7 or 8 different mechanics using that get a coin token thing. So that mechanic is one that I really enjoyed, and of course those little gold coins have a good feel to them. But also we wanted to, was there any cards in the set that you liked in particular?
Yeah, like I said, the one where if you delete 1 gold, you get one that was like 3 better.
Okay.
That's how
that well, right, and that also attacks the other people. So you upgrade and you're attacking everyone else. And Melody has a really bad habit of attacking your father, something we will.
Well, helped with your silver problem.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, that wasn't a problem. Now, where do you put this expansion when compared to all the other expansions? Right now, before this expansion came out, what was your favorite expansion?
I don't know.
Okay, well, for me, currently, before this came out, my favorite expansion was Prosperity. I love the Platinum. I love all the big stuff. And then I love Seaside, which had the extra things. The other expansions are fine, but those 2 expansions were head and shoulders above the rest. For guilds, I put it right after those. It's Prosperity, Seaside, Guilds. And if Guilds had been a big box expansion, I would have thought even more of it. These 13 card expansions, I wish they were bigger and had a lot more variety. But It's cool. It adds a lot of neat things you can do, but doesn't really add to the complexity. It doesn't have cards that, like in Dark Ages and things, you were sitting there going, how do I use this? Okay, rats and these different, odd to use cards. This was pretty straightforward. More money. Extra things you can do. Ha ha ha. And I like that. So for me, very big thumbs up. This is a really good way for Dominion to go out with a really great expansion guilds. What about you?
Good game.
Good game? Good expansion?
Very good.
And now we have a gigantic box full of Dominion, so it's probably good that they've stopped making it.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!